Hello everyone, welcome to the Pioneer Weekly Recap and Preview Show. I'm Brian Staten. Well, weekly recap and preview show, let's preview what potentially could happen this coming weekend, and we'll just leave it at that for now. A lot of rain expected to inundate the area, causing some likely schedule changes for the weekend. But this is what is on the schedule for the weekend beginning on Friday this week for Pioneer Nation. Indoor track and field at the SAC Championships all day at Winston-Salem. Usually that'll happen. It's indoors. For baseball, though, the Pioneers will welcome Goldie Beacom as a Pioneer baseball team that is surging right now. And again, that's Friday night, scheduled at 6 o'clock at Pioneer Park. Indoor track and field continue the weekend indoor South Atlantic Conference Championships. Men's tennis will be at North Georgia with the women's tennis. That's at Dahlonega, Georgia, and that's 11 o'clock starts on Saturday. Women's lacrosse hosting Lees McRae at Pioneer Field Saturday. That begins at noon. Softball hosting Davis and Elkins, and that's a doubleheader. That begins at 1 o'clock at Red Edmonds Field. Baseball begins their doubleheader against Goldie Beacom beginning at 1 o'clock at Pioneer Park. Men's lacrosse, after a big win this past week against Alabama Huntsville at 2-1 on the year, they travel right back close to where they just were in Rome, Georgia. They'll take on Shorter this Saturday at 1 o'clock start. Women's and men's basketball on the road. Indoors will likely play Hartsville, South Carolina against Coker. Sunday, men's and women's tennis will be at Young Harris, 10 o'clock starts. Softball takes on Young Harris as well. That's a home match at Red Edmonds Field. And baseball wraps up their 3-game set with Goldie Beacom, and a 4-game set, I should say. That's what's scheduled as they'll play on Sunday. And again, a lot of this contingent on how the weather fares here this weekend in East Tennessee, or really pretty much in the entire Southeast region. Stay tuned to TusculumPioneers.com to get the latest updates, or you can always download the really cool app, Pioneer Up app, and you can find that on your favorite Google Play Store or your Play Store to get that particular app. Pioneer Up will keep you up to date with those things. Here's the records. Men's basketball, 12-12. They're 8-8 in the league. Women's basketball riding the 5-game winning streak this week as they have a big week. Carson Newman and Coker both on the road, 18-6 and 10-6 in the South Atlantic Conference. Men's and women's tennis each 2-1. Their losses this year to Indianapolis. The baseball team, after starting 1-7, now rebounding nicely at 5-7 on the year. Softball is up to 5-1. Men's lacrosse 2-1. Women's lacrosse is open to 0-3, and beach volleyball getting set to get underway in action. Once again, keep up to date with what's going on this weekend for Pioneer Athletics by visiting TusculumPioneers.com. Let's take a look at some hardware that has been handed out this week, and let's start with our Zaxby's Athletes of the Week. It has been an outstanding week for both of these basketball players, and Caleb Hodnett and also Yolis McCupidon. Caleb Hodnett, a junior from Adolphus, Kentucky, led the Pioneers to a 2-0 record last week, literally. Wins against Mars Hill and Lenore-Rhyne. He recorded his 3rd and 4th double-doubles of the season, scoring 21 and 10 against Mars Hill, and then 20 and 12 against the Lenore-Rhyne Bears, averaging 20.5 points per contest, 11 rebounds a game, shot 62% from the floor. More on Caleb Hodnett coming up here in just a moment. The Pioneers have won now 3 of their last 4 and are 500 on the year, 1 game out of 5th and within striking distance of that 4th seed in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament. Meanwhile, for Yolis McCupidon, the senior from Ocoee, Florida, averaged 14.5 points, 9 rebounds a game as the Pioneers went 2-0 last week, defeating Mars Hill and Lenore-Rhyne. Cupidon had 15 points and 9 boards against Mars Hill, 14 points, 9 boards against LR. The 9 rebounds equal a career high for her. She shot 50% from the field and averaged 2.5 assists and almost 2 steals per contest. The Pioneers have won 5 in a row, 5 of their last 6, and a huge week this week as the Tusculum women will travel to Carson Newman and to Coker. Both of these players, Caleb Hodnett and Yolis McCupidon, are 3-time Zaxby's Athletes of the Week. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to our all-academic team as well. Tusculum University cross-country runners Elisa Furchess and Nicole McMillan have been named to the United States Track and Field and Cross-Country Coaches Association all-academic team. The status for both the Tusculum and women's programs. To be eligible, you have to have a cumulative grade point average 3.0 or better, and then meet in the regional. The Tusculum women's team posted a 3.33 team GPA, and the men had a 3.31 GPA, so that shows up very well for them. For Furchess, the junior from Greenville has a 3.52 GPA, majoring in elementary education, a member of the South Atlantic Conference Commissioners Honor Roll, Athletic Directors Honor Roll, Dean's List, Charles Oliver Gray Honors List. She finished 30th at the Southeast Region Championship with a 6K time of just under 24 minutes. It was a 16-spot improvement from the 2017. For McMillan, the senior from Pickering, Ontario, a 3.92 GPA, majoring in business management. Also a member of the President's List, Dean's List, Charles Oliver Gray List, Conference Commissioner Honor Roll, and Athletic Director Honor Roll. Started the season on the women's soccer team, where she started all 18 games, had 8 assists. Then 5 days after her final match, ran her first collegiate cross-country race and finished 5th at the South Atlantic Conference Championships at just over 22 or just under 22 and a half minutes, earning all conference first team honors. 2 weeks later, finished 5th at the Southeast Region meet, garnered all region first team honors, and then moved on to the national championships as well. Congratulations once again to Alyssa Furchess, Nicole McMillan. Fine seasons this year, looking for a little bit more for them as well going forward, and members of that all academic team. So for the Pioneers, they have been very successful right now in earning a bunch of hardware. And we move that to the AstroTurf South Atlantic Conference Tennis Player of the Week. And I had to get some actually specific, how do I say the last name? So I'll try my very best to give you David Akinpatad and his last name, Akinpatad. David is our AstroTurf South Atlantic Conference Tennis Player of the Week. Big reason why the sophomore from France upset 5th-ranked Renato Lima for the University of Indianapolis, the 10th-ranked team in the country last week at #1 singles. Akinpatad opened the match with a 6-2 victory, lost 6-0, but stormed his way back to win the third 7-6 in an 8-6 tiebreaker. The win improved his record to 2-0 on the season and in singles play, and David Akinpatad is our AstroTurf South Atlantic Conference Men's Tennis Player of the Week. Congratulations to him. Talked a little bit about Caleb Hodnett and what he has done and how he has just been surging at the right time, right moment. He is also an AstroTurf South Atlantic Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Week. Talked about what he did this past week, recorded his 3rd and 4th double-doubles of the season, averaged 20.5 points last week, 11 rebounds as well, leading the Pioneers in rebounding as well at 6.6 rebounds a game. It's 8th in the league. It's 4th on the squad in scoring at 10.6. He's also tops on the team, shooting 57% from the field, which is 7th in the South Atlantic Conference as well. His play has been key as the Pioneers have climbed into the upper echelon in that South Atlantic Conference, into the top 5 or just outside of that top 5 spot. They are looking 1 game back from LR and within striking distance of that #4 spot, and a huge finish to the season coming up for the Pioneers with 4 games left, being led by Caleb Hodnett. As always, you can keep up to date with your favorite players, your favorite teams, by visiting our webpage at TusculumPioneers.com, finding out the latest updates for schedule changes, where things may or may not happen, sometimes even how to say people's last names. Not always. You can always get that information right here each and every week. So until next week, I'm Brian Staten. Go Pioneers.